and uniforms supplied by NATO countries. You can see in the pictures here were among the items left behind by Ukrainian servicemen when they retreated from Kharkov. The Russian military also seized an anti-tank missile system. There were similar scenes in the Kherson region, where Russian forces took control of a Ukrainian military base. Our senior correspondent, Murat Gazdiev, who's now on the ground there, can tell us more.
We're now at a Ukrainian military base in the province of Kherson. This base was abandoned very quickly by Ukrainian troops. There wasn't much of a fight here. They left their equipment. These are, for example, T-64 tanks, all of them in working order. They're now being evacuated from here by the Russian military, which has taken over. Where they're being taken, we haven't been told, but again, these are tanks all in working order. Over there's an arsenal, so small arms, rocket-propelled grenades, vast quantities of ammunition also left behind. You can see armored personnel carriers, as well as all manner of trucks that have been left here. Where all these Ukrainian troops have gone is something that nobody knows. They may have mingled with the civilian population or moved further west towards where the front lines are and where certain Ukrainian elements of their military are still putting up a fight. In all, dozens of tanks and armored personnel carriers were abandoned here, along with repair kits and spare parts. They're being towed and stored elsewhere, pending a decision on what to do with them.
More than 60 units of military equipment and 40 units of armoured weapons were found at the base. Also at the base, a storage facility with ammunition was found, about 4,000 tons.
Another armoured personnel carrier of the Ukrainian military that was abandoned here, also in full working orders, are most vehicles here. We've been told, but just to give you an idea of how chaotically the Ukrainian troops here abandoned this place, we have entire trucks filled to the brim with personal belongings of soldiers that have been left behind. We've been told not to touch too many things here, though it is unlikely, it is still possible that Ukrainian troops left behind, for example, booby traps or mines, but again, unlikely because of how quickly they abandoned this military base. And this is being seen. Scenes like this are being reported from all over Ukraine, from areas that have now been seized by Russian forces.
Apparently, the military personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine was misinformed and abandoned by their commanders because, according to what it looks like here, all the military personnel just fled. There's equipment here that's in good shape and could be used by them for leaving, but even that was abandoned. Servicemen probably dispersed to their homes, which most likely indicates that no one wants to fight, and they're probably being forced to do this.
This base was vast, an estimated 6 or 7 square kilometers, housing thousands of troops from all sorts of services, from engineers and supply crews to Marines and special forces. None stayed to fight. And this is a vast Ukrainian military field camp that was abandoned by the troops. Here, from what we've been told, there were 3,000 to 4,000 Ukrainian servicemen stationed here. None were left by the time the Russian military arrived. As you can tell, they left in a tremendous hurry. All over the place are personal documents, IDs of Ukrainian troops. Also, military uniforms. Apparently the soldiers here shook off these, left them here, and put on civilian clothing before mingling with civilians in the city or in various villages nearby. This, as I say, a scene of absolute chaos. Personal items are everywhere. We have also been told that the troops here were abandoned by their own leadership, that they weren't made aware that Russian forces were advancing, and they only learned this from news reports and from conversations with locals. Again, this place is absolutely vast. These tents, rows and rows of tents, stretch for hundreds of meters. The arms depots dotted around the base are testament to the mayhem and anarchy that unfolded here. 4,500 tons of ammunition, that's 4.5 million kilograms of armaments, were left behind. They were neither destroyed nor sabotaged by deserting Ukrainian troops, which they would have been had any semblance of order remained. Here's also a huge ammunition dump of the Ukrainian military. There are crates packed with various ammunition, explosives all over the place. 122 millimeter mines, mortar rounds, a tank shell along with the charge, for example. In this protected depot are even more explosives. For example, guided missile canisters, rows and rows of them, as well as here you have the explosive heads, the detonators for mines. Over in these crates, 80 millimeter mortar rounds, and again this stretches into the distance, crates and crates of various bullets, mines, and much more. It isn't safe here. It is believed that at least the ammunition dumps, that they are mined, that there are booby traps and explosives, a surprise for Russian troops. Since day one of the Russian operation, Ukrainian servicemen were offered and encouraged by Moscow to lay down their arms and return to their homes and families. "We are not here for you," the Russians said. "Don't throw away your lives fighting for nationalists and neo-Nazis." And more Ukrainian troops are taking the offer and sitting this particular fight out. Orad Gazdiev from Kherson, Ukraine.